today's news, we have the Minister of Education, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Whitley, joining us live to respond to allegations regarding mandatory vaccines for teachers.
The BVI Olympic Committee to host Olympic Day runs and inaugural BVI Beach Games.
We also see UK trainers to train BVI prison officers following the recent fatal stabbing.
In addition to that, Ms. Cindy Rosan Jones joins us live to discuss the reasoning behind a second planned protest. All this and so much more when 284 News returns.
The win.
What are the hell?
I'm freaking out.
Jumping is about these people.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the
What's poppin'? What's really good?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
Hello everyone, welcome everybody. It's Thursday, June 10th, 2021, a terrific Thursday to each and every one of you. We're coming to you live and direct from Rotown, Tortola in the BVI. I'm Ron Grant.
And my name is Javon Wilson. A Thursday that certainly feels like Friday as we head into a very, very long weekend. But at the top of our headlines, some updates about the weather, Ron. According to DDM, the concentration of Saharan dust across the area is expected to increase and will therefore further reduce the air quality and the visibility. Otherwise, high pressure is the dominant weather feature and significant shower activity is certainly not anticipated. Now for tonight, partly cloudy and hazy skies with a 20% or slight chance of showers. So not too bad. I think we're past the worst of the day. Yeah. Absolutely. We'll head straight into our newscast for today.
Beginning on the local scene here in the British Virgin Islands, in another turn of events, after meeting with education officials earlier yesterday, June 9th, 2021, stating that all frontline workers, including teachers, will be mandated to be vaccinated or be subject to a bi-monthly COVID-19 test. Government officials have now backpedaled and issued a fake news stamp on another story that we believe does not support the general populace. Of course, 284 Media has confirmed within multiple sources within the Ministry of Education the meeting and its contents. One teacher said, and I quote, "Mr. Grant, I received a call from my principal asking if I had been vaccinated or not. She then asked when I intended to be vaccinated." A principal at a local school also said the meeting was chaired by the CEO and we were instructed of the way forward and to document which teachers were vaccinated or not. Now, of course, government officials in response to our report stated, and I quote, "There's a testing regimen for frontline workers coming, but it's not been finalized by the government." In addition to that, the Honorable Leader for Government Business, the Honorable Andrew Foy, in a Facebook post said, and I quote, "People of the Virgin Islands, while your elected government strongly encourages the taking of the vaccines in the fight against COVID-19 to date, your elected government have no knowledge of this alleged decision being made by making vaccines mandatory for teachers and other frontline staff, nor has your government approved such in cabinet. Your government remains resolute to date to not make mandatory the taking of vaccines. We have always stated that it is each person's choice whether they want to be vaccinated or not. I applaud," he said, "the efforts of our public officers, but it is essential that this be ventilated in the public domain so as to bring clarity to any such concerns that may be floating in the public sphere. Let's keep moving together as one people in BVI Love." Now, viewers, we are honored to have the Honorable Minister for Education and Culture, Deputy Premier, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Whitley, to bring some clarity on the present issue. Dr. Whitley, thank you so much for your time. Good evening and welcome back to 284 Media.
Terrific Thursday to you, Ron and Javon. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Minister, I want to begin by sharing, obviously, once the story broke, the government of the Virgin Islands, which you are a part of, issued a fake news stamp on that story. Now, inadvertently, in issuing a fake news stamp, you were not only calling the reporter, myself, and the agency liars when it came to that particular story, but you also essentially calling our credible sources, which includes teachers and principals, liars and giving inaccurate information. Of course, the story has taken on a life of its own with many residents raising concerns. We are now having an opportunity to hear from ministers of government like yourself, and we are so thankful that you're here today. I want to backpedal a little bit, okay? There's a meeting that was held on with education stakeholders. Like you know, I have quotes from both teachers, both primary schools and principals who have stated, like you said, one said, Mr. Grant, I received a call from my principal asking if I have been vaccinated or not. She then asked if I was intended to be vaccinated. A principal said to me the meeting was chaired by the CEO and we were instructed of the way forward and to document which teachers were vaccinated or not. Where did the breakdown go? What is the situation and why has the context been deemed as fake news?
Thank you for the opportunity, Ron. And let me just reiterate my belief that 284 Media is a credible media source. And in no way did we seek to bring disrepute to this, organization that's doing such a wonderful job of engaging with the news. But in terms of the story that was released yesterday, as soon as it was released, there was a real reaction from the public, and persons, I think, got very worried and very concerned. So there was a need for us to act quickly to be able to clear up the inaccuracy of the story. Now, I certainly am not calling yourself a liar. I'm not calling the teachers or the principals liars, but they were certainly misinformed. And while I know that we have a great relationship, I want you to feel comfortable in being able to contact me to be able to clear up these stories and verify these stories before they go out, because sometimes it can cause a real stir in the public.
So tell us what took place exactly at the meeting and what is the move forward as it pertains to what was said, what took place?
Well, as soon as I saw the story, Ron, I have to tell you, I did call the chief education officer. And she did verify what you said about calling persons to see if they were vaccinated. As it was explained to me, this was an effort to gather statistics on vaccinations. She did confirm to me, however, that in no way did she say that teachers were being mandated to take vaccines. But I certainly can tell you where I believe the breakdown
Please do.
Was. And let me just reiterate to the public, Ron, at no time throughout our tenure as leaders in this territory during this COVID-19 pandemic have we taken the position that vaccines should be mandatory. And that remains the case. As long as COVID-19 is going on, we will not mandate vaccines for anyone, because it's your body and you should be able to choose what goes into your body. Now, we've been strongly encouraging persons and we've been seeking to educate persons. We've even incentivized vaccines, as many places have done, but we refuse to mandate vaccines for anyone. But we do have a testing regime that cabinet, we didn't approve the testing regime in cabinet. We wanted persons to go out and explore a testing regime for unvaccinated frontline workers. Ron, I have to tell you, frontline workers do not, and I repeat, do not include teachers. And this is a cabinet decision that came with a policy paper. And if you examine the policy paper, you will not see teachers in that policy paper. So that certainly is a misunderstanding that before any public announcement was to be made, should have been cleared up.
All right, and you did mention the testing regime is coming, yet to be confirmed by the Cabinet of the Virgin Islands, but this will only apply to frontline staff, correct?
Yes, and let me just explain the rationale for that. If you have persons who are coming into contact with persons who potentially have COVID-19, and you could think about persons who work at the immigration, persons who work at the ports, and those persons are not vaccinated. Right now, it's being explored. Cabinet approved a decision for the Health Emergency Operations Center to explore a testing regime using rapid tests for persons who do not want to become vaccinated, but it would, for the safety of persons in that sector who will be, interacting with guests, so on and so forth, we have to ensure that these persons are regularly tested to make sure that they do not have COVID-19 and pose a risk to guests or to residents.
Okay, you did mention, Minister, the fact that the CEO was indeed within her portfolio reaching out to teachers to get statistics on persons who were vaccinated, teachers who were vaccinated or not vaccinated, but still within the same breath saying that it remains a voluntary decision. Let's get into whether, as a Minister of Education and by extension your ministry, is it your hope then to get more teachers vaccinated as we aim for a full reopening of schools in the BVI?
Well, we've been at this for some time now. We've been educating persons for some time now. We've educated persons. United Kingdom have made vaccines available to us, and yes, it was our hope that persons would take it, but we clearly understand that persons have to weigh their own personal beliefs, their own medical history, because of course, persons, let's say for instance, who have a history of blood clots, certainly if someone decided they don't want to take the vaccine, they're well within their right to be able to protect their health. We've educated persons on the statistics as it pertains to taking vaccines. For instance, persons who take birth control have a higher risk of blood clots than persons who take the vaccine. And, persons who take Tylenol or aspirin, there are instances around the world of persons who take all of these different medications. And I haven't even spoken about some of the more harsh medications that persons take all the time. All of them come with risks. And we have to weigh our own medical situation and the risks associated with certain conditions against the risks of taking these vaccines or medications. It's a personal decision.
Absolutely. And now, Minister, as a former teacher, lecturer at our tertiary institution, and now a Minister for Education, I think one of the million-dollar question is whether you have taken the vaccine, being that this is certainly a push for teachers to get vaccinated as we reopen. What is your response to that?
Yeah, I'm fully vaccinated now. I took my second shot a few weeks ago. This time I didn't make the mistake I made the first time when I did not take a picture and I did not video it. This time I took a picture just to make sure, because some persons were accusing me of just saying I took the vaccine when I didn't take it. So I have my card that says I'm fully vaccinated, and actually it's going to help me because I travel this Sunday to go to a United Nations meeting, and on the 15th when I come back, I will not have to quarantine because Cabinet recently passed a decision that persons who are vaccinated won't have to quarantine. So when I come back, I'll be free as a bird.
Okay. In closing, Minister, let's speak to the teacher confidence. Clearly, this story and the headlines have caused some hysteria in the community. Let's speak to not only the importance of clarifying what the reality of the situation is, but of course as well getting our teachers to a place where they're comfortable and confident in the education system as they return to school soon enough.
Well, I'm not sure if you're talking about confidence generally in the education system or confidence in the vaccine, but what I would say to everyone out there, those persons who are parents, those persons who are students, those persons who are in the teaching profession, administrators, persons who work in the ministry, certainly we're going through difficult times, but difficult times don't last. You say tough times don't last, tough people do. And I know we in the Virgin Islands are made of tougher stuff, and we can conquer COVID-19, we can conquer the recovery from the storms, and we can conquer anything that we encountered with faith in God and continue to walk in unity. And let's not be divided, because all of us want the same thing and we're all on the same team.
Absolutely. Minister, I want to thank you so much for making time to sit with us and bring much needed clarification to this issue, and of course wish you all the best, and also thank you for remaining accessible to our newsroom.
Thank you. I'll always be accessible to 284 Media and the various media organizations, because I truly believe in democracy and I want everyone to enjoy the holiday weekend.
All right, viewers, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, UK trainers are now set to train the prison officers following a fatal stabbing. We have all the details for that and so much more when 284 News returns.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services. One-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Quite a mouthful coming from the Minister of Education, but on we go with more local news. Now, a trainer from the United Kingdom has been assigned to provide training to prison officers at Her Majesty's Prison at Balsam Got on Tortola. This was revealed in a recent interview with 284 Media, of course, with Governor John Rankin, where he really highlighted the importance of improving prison officer training following a deadly stabbing incident at the facility on Sunday, May 30th. Listen in.
Well, we certainly need a sufficient number of prison officers to deal with the number of prisoners in the prison. There are about 106 prisoners in the prison as we speak. But yes, I believe we do need improved training for prison officers. We need improved security. We need improved work on rehabilitation. And I'm pleased to say that a UK trainer will be coming out to the island shortly to assist the prison superintendent and the staff in that particular area.
Now, viewers, Governor Rankin also confirmed that several arrests were made following the stabbing incident at the prison and said that while an internal investigation is ongoing, an external investigation will also be conducted. Listen in.
The police have already made a number of arrests in relation to the crimes which appear to have occurred, but we also, more widely, need to have, I believe, an external review of security at the prison and arrangements at the prison to make sure not just for these particular set of dreadful incidents, but in the longer term, we can ensure the better security and safety at the prison, safety for prisoners, safety for prison officers, and to give the public confidence that the prison is being properly run. So that's a very high priority for me, given the dreadful events of 2 weeks ago.
Now, viewers, that was Governor John Rankin, of course, who is handling the portfolio for security within our territory. Now, the fatal stabbing incident led to the death of inmate Nikhil Chambers and involved a total of 4 prisoners. Now, following an emergency National Security Council meeting, 2 senior prison officers who were on duty at the time of the incident were put on administrative leave. Now, as we pan across the region, a troubling story coming out of Barbados that really links to a situation that's happening right here in the Virgin Islands, the destruction and damages of our coral reefs, which actually ties into the wider ecosystem and blue economy of the territory that is so very much important to our tourism industry. Our Kamal Haynes has the story.
The minister's comment was based on reports which alleged that US $570 million worth of damage was caused to Barbados' coral reef from anchored cruise ships during the heightened period of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. The minister said that these measures included a mooring ball system that previously existed and revealed that going forward to further protect the reefs, his ministry will be looking into having no anchoring zones.
What we instituted in the past was the mooring ball system. That has significantly protected our reefs. What we have to do going forward is to have no anchoring zones. It's a little more complicated, but it's something we are looking at now. How do we institute no anchoring zones to protect reefs in particular areas?
Minister Wheatley also said that the BVI has also experienced issues of large vessels anchoring in the territory.
The BVI has a lot of dead reefs around it, maybe sometimes near shore and so forth. But a lot of our reefs are still live and vibrant. The issue of cruise ships, of bigger boats anchoring, is an issue that we have to look at to make sure they aren't destroying coral reefs when they anchor. So one of the ways that we intend to attack that is to look at the possibility of looking at no anchoring zones or bringing more mooring balls into the BVI.
The report on the damage caused on Barbados' coral reefs was prepared by the Center for Resource Management and Environmental Studies at the University of the West Indies Cayfield campus, which was published in a recent Barbados Today news article. The report, which is entitled Assessing Anchoring Impacts of Cruise Ships in Barbados During the COVID-19 Pandemic of 2020, stated that 3.8 million square meters of damage was done to the reefs during the months of March 2020 and September 2020. The damage cost was calculated using Barbados' Coastal Zone Management Act, which states that damaging coral reefs is an offense that carries a fine of $300 per square meter. During the aforementioned period, it is documented that 28 cruise ships stayed in relatively shallow waters on the outer banks of the island, which led to 132 anchor drops taking place in popular areas such as Port St. Charles and other areas in the southern end of the west coast. The researchers linked the disastrous outcome to a number of policy failures in the management of coral reefs in Barbados, which allowed cruise ships to anchor in these coral-rich areas. They further said that the damaged coral reefs will take several decades to regrow. However, the reef framework was unlikely to repair itself due to the current conditions of climate change. Kamal Haynes reporting for 284 News.
So viewers, here we see the government being very proactive in their measures to protect the coral reef from damage from both small and large vessels. Clearly, with the anchoring of with the implementation of no anchoring zones, I think this will definitely help. And we do know our Honorable Minister for Natural Resources, Honorable Vincent Wheatley, is very passionate about protecting the environment. We're going to head to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, Mrs. Cindy Rosan Jones joins us for a very interesting interview. You want to hear all about it when 284 News returns.
Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and our partners that hold us down. It's season 2 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, taking you on the most inspiring journey with the best and brightest distinguished gentlemen of the BVI. Raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men like you've never seen them before. Governor Augustus J.U. Jaspert, Jovan Klein, Neil Klein, and so much more. Turning modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen with yours truly, Ron Grant, a 284 Media production. Viewers, welcome back. As promised, as you know, last Saturday, residents and community activists, particularly Miss Cindy Rosan Jones and Kishma Penn, took to the streets of the Virgin Islands to address a number of issues that they thought were prevalent. Of course, that is after the release of the very talked about story for legislators receiving a comprehensive health insurance. Now, I am joined by Mrs. Cindy Rosan Jones as her team and herself are getting ready to gear up for another protest, which is this Saturday. Mrs. Rosan Jones, thank you so much for your time and welcome to 284 Media.
Thank you for having me, Ron.
I want to touch on begin by asking you, of course, after the most recent activities, you and your team thought it best to take to the streets. Now, since then, the government of the Virgin Islands has halted the very talked about comprehensive health insurance policy for all House of Assembly members. Why is it that you guys thought it necessary to have a second protest?
Thank you, Ron. So, yes, they have halted the matter that they have tabled, the insurance matter. We do not want them to halt it. We want them to actually take it off the table. We are not willing for this to actually happen at all. We would like them to look at NHI, put that on the table for reform. We do not believe that in most of the territory, do not believe that the government should have, that the legislators should have a separate comprehensive insurance plan. That's why our slogan, if NHI is good for us, then it has to be good for them. So we want them to actually take it completely off of the table, and we would like them to get NHI on the table for reform.
Thank you for that clarification. Now, 284 Media took the time to issue a poll, a general poll, and we had about 575 persons take to that poll. And the question was simply whether or not House of Assembly members should benefit from comprehensive health insurance policy at the expense of taxpayers. Now, some 564 persons said no, and we had another 8 persons supporting yes. And when you look at this matter, of course, it has caused much concern across the territory. But what is the most important factor for you, and why do you think it is so important for you and your team to speak up against certain activities as it pertains to government activities as a voting member of the community?
Well, Ron, when you look at this, it's a stark reality of, when a people decide to stand up and use their voice, change can happen. Sometimes it seems like, you're not getting anywhere, you're wasting your time. You're definitely not wasting your time when you decide to stand up, make a loud noise sometimes, or go from different angles to deal with a situation. But you stand up so that those in power can hear you, so that your voice can matter. And there are other issues that we also want to take to the street about, and those include the exit packages that the legislators again passed for themselves a couple of weeks ago, which we're not in favor of, at least not at this time. There are too many people suffering. We have the issue of our schools and our education and the fall down of that, our economy, the crash of our tourism product, the cruise ships coming in. We don't know what's going on. So all of these things are of major concern for residents of the BVI and for citizens, Virgin Islanders, belongers, all alike. Families are being put out of their homes. They can't eat. All of these things we want to take to the street because we need this, this leadership to understand that the people are hurting. We need them to pay attention to what's going on with us. Our voices matter, and we're going to make that resounding noise come Saturday again. We're inviting everybody to come out and support us. If you can't support us on the motorcade, join us online. We're going to be live. We also have T-shirts planned. You can log into, if you contact Crazy Threads on 340-9696, they're able to get you a shirt ready for Saturday, for pickup Saturday morning up to 12, midday, 1 o'clock. You can pick up your T-shirt and you can join us. We're asking you to make signs. If NHI is good for us, NHI is good for them. You can use some of our hashtags such as our voices matter, no greedy bill, we fed up. Okay, so these are some of the signs that you can use. Meet us on the road. We're going to start at the Noah Lloyd Park at 4 p.m. on Saturday, and we're going to take to districts 1, 2, and 3. And yes, we do have police confirmation that we can be on the road. We've gotten approval, so we are ready to go come Saturday, 4 p.m. Meet us at the Noah Lloyd Park. Stand up for this territory and make your voices be counted.
Viewers, you heard it here there from Mrs. Cindy Rosan Jones. Cindy, before you go, I must ask, and I want you to speak on the importance of protesting. Protesting is something that is not new to us. It dates back before I was around, and perhaps even you, where residents of the territory, when they saw of incidents that were not suitable, they did not think it was suitable towards the development of the country, they took to the streets. However, as time has passed, we've seen where persons are a bit apprehensive. What do you say to residents in the community who don't understand their right and their importance to be able to speak out against anything that they do not deem that's productive for the territory?
Yeah, Ron, exactly. We've had protests before. Yes, before I was born, before you were born. I mean, you hear the old song all the time. If Noah Lloyd hadn't stood up and fought for us, we wouldn't have Wickham Ski right now. We wouldn't have be able to vote. We've had people like Theodore Faulkner. They've taken to the streets. Over the years, we've had many protests. And the importance of, I say, calm protests, not rioting or anything. Just calm protests. You go out, you make your voice heard. These are how changes come about. These are how changes come about when you make your voice heard. It is very important when it comes to making a change in the territory, especially at the point where we're heading now with the COI on our doors. And we've talked out a lot about corruption in our system and victimization and certain good governance legislations that we can't see come to the table yet. It's important to protest these things. It's important to, lift your voice to your leaders to say, we have elected you. That's what democracy is about. We have elected you. Even civil servants, you are able to stand up and protest peacefully against any decision that our legislators are making.
Mrs. Rosan Jones, we thank you so much for coming by today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, Ron.
Viewers, that was Mrs. Cindy Rosan Jones on the upcoming second protest that is going to be held this Saturday. Viewers, a jam-packed newscast. We thank you so much for rocking with us, but we are not out of time, but over time. I'm Ron Grant. It's always been a pleasure. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves.
Absolutely. And my name is Javon Wilson. Take care. Have a beautiful one and join us again on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.